Hey guys, how's it going? I'm here now. What snacks are you grabbing? Doritos? No man, I had to finish off my Apple Jacks before I started the stream. Probably would have been too loud to eat, I assume, right? Yay, he spoke. Yeah, no, this isn't gonna be like a silent stream or anything. That would be 100 times more boring. How's it going, Caspian? How you guys doing today? I tried to stream a little bit earlier today because one, I had the day off as opposed to the last time I streamed, and then two, people overseas are actually awake, so hopefully if any of you guys are watching, you appreciate it. I don't know. It's your boy. Doing mighty fine. That's good to hear. Today's gonna be a little bit different from the last time we streamed. Let me see if I can find a picture of it for you guys real quick. I'm sure a majority of you guys didn't see the last stream, but it's a possibility. We made this guy, which is a scene, and if you came from Twitter, you already see this as well, but basically it's a new scene we added, right, to Project Campfire, and if you don't know what that is, it's, you know, in the title as well. It's a video game I'm making in Minecraft. It's going to be playable in Minecraft. This is a scene where our character can go behind trees and under the shadows and traverse through the area and whatnot. But today's going to be a little different. What we're going to be doing is actually adding something that's way more complicated. Still have a stream pause? Yeah, that may be a problem. My bad. Yeah, it didn't update on my screen, so that's weird. Thanks for letting me know, though, before I got 30 minutes in talking to myself. Can you guys see? Is this a picture now? Check it later. Kidding. I do have a Patreon. It's true. What's up, Consta? How's it going? I mean, it's not meant to make, like, money off of, essentially. It's more meant to, like, fund this project and have, you know, art that I can actually purchase for people and stuff, as opposed to make my own, which takes 100 times longer, or find free ones, which are generally not as good in the first place, so. Alright, so you guys see this picture, right? I assume? Hopefully? Because my stream okay. Oh, I see. Alright, we're good. We see it. Good news. Okay. How's it going, Dragon? Talk to you on Twitter a little bit. Hey, Agent Decay? Trees and stone and green water. Yeah. Looks okay, hopefully. I don't know. I'm going to be adding a few more things to the frame as time goes on, but basically, we're not going to be working on scenes today, right? We're going to be going to work on animations and whatnot. So this is the sprite sheet we have for our character, which includes quite a bit, right? But we're not going to be doing all of it, obviously. We're going to be adding a different animation today, and it's going to be used for the bow and arrow in the game. It's a new weapon we're adding, as opposed to the sword swinging, which we have already in the game. And I'd show you if I had Minecraft open, but I'll show you guys later if you hang around. We did that last stream a little bit too. We showed off how combat works, at least for a basic swing attack for a sword. But today we're going to be working on this guy, which isn't going to be for this guy necessarily. We're going to be using the bow and arrow for our character. And we might add NPCs that have bow and arrows and whatnot, but for the most part, I just want to get the basic attacks for our character down first, because I want to make sure it's functional from our side. It's more important. So basically, this little chain right here, where he's like knocking an arrow back and then shoots it, I'm going to edit it a little bit so it's not so stiff. And we're going to edit this bow so it's on our character for our sprite sheet right over here. And then we can compare the two over here and actually put it into the game and hopefully use it functionally. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually have like the whole detection and animated arrow in the game by the end of this stream. That's going to take a while, especially if timings don't work out and stuff like that. I got to find ways around it. So we're going to start off with just adding the actual animation in the game. So essentially what we did with our sword swinging, but instead of it actually affecting an enemy, it's just going to be the, you know, aesthetic of it. Are those public or free assets? Yeah. These ones are actually ones I found online, and this one is a free asset that was on itch.io as well, which has been used in a few games before, but they're not popular whatsoever. Not that my game will be either, probably, but that's the whole point of it, is that it's free, and it's nice. All the assets and stuff will be credited in the game itself, which is what the license requires, so... Which is kind of confusing, because it's not necessarily a game either, it's more like a mod, technically, if you think about it, but... Hopefully it is popular, yeah. I mean, that's the hope, right? If not, wasted a bunch of time, but got some experience out of it, and self-pride from doing something that was challenging, so. So yeah, let's go ahead and copy these guys over here. And again, like last stream, if you guys have any questions about the project, or just in general about me, or YouTube or anything, feel free to ask, because this is going to be a long process that's not going to be limited to me doing a tutorial or anything like that, so. Why am I making it? I kind of went over it a little bit. More so, I just wanted to make a video game, and I don't know how to code, so I'm using Minecraft, so. That's pretty much it. Going into why I want to make a video game is probably a longer story, so. Whoop, because he wants to? Yeah, that's probably a better definition, I suppose. So the first thing we're going to do is, if you look at this guy, he's very stiff. His feet stay in the same spot, which is okay, but it also looks like he's just standing, and then his upper body does all the movement. Right here, his knee moves back a little bit, as opposed to over here. So you see a little bit of movement, but our character is going to have a different stance to start off with, just because we have a lot of different stances to start from. Because as opposed to this tile sheet, this guy's got a lot more, right? So our hero's going to start off with a stance that's more like this one. Like a standing stance, but widespread legs, as opposed to a standing stance, which is like this. I think that'll just look better with the bow animation, and set it apart from, like, you know, previous animations that I've done, like with the sword and standing still and running and all that. So we're going to go ahead and actually move this guy down here. And then we're going to, whoops, probably select this guy, right? Oh, wrong tool. Hello? That's not supposed to happen. Select this man. What the heck? Why does Control-C not work? Oh, I don't have the... I'm stupid. Okay. We got it, boys. So somewhere in the middle. Probably a little bit more to the left. The sword doesn't need to be in the picture, obviously, so I'm just going to take that out right away. And I'm actually just going to take off his entire arm, because we're going to be moving his arms. And it's going to be annoying to move each frame. Backgrounds are also free assets. They're actually not free in terms of like you could just take them and use them. Most of the background assets, like the picture I showed off in the beginning, was a combination of pictures made by a person named Danielle Rise, and he gave me permission to use it, or she. I'm not sure the gender on the person, but they gave me permission to use the art as long as I manipulate it in a way that's not the original picture. And I, reached out to them for that permission. I didn't just like say they gave me the permission. But yeah, I mean, if you want to use it, you can ask them. But will you add blueberries? No, probably not. Mushrooms maybe, but blueberries are a far stretch. Okay, so the first thing too is that we want to find an image where his arm is bent, just to like limit the amount of pixel art we have to do on our own, because that's always time consuming. I like this picture. Where is it? His arm was somewhere. Aha, right here. So right here, he's got his little pixels. So this is like the arm that's reaching for the string that's knocking back the bow, right? And just grabbing it from a different picture, this decent looking picture kind of assumes that it's going to look decent right away. So here we go. Little weird stance. He doesn't have his cape on as well. And then this arm needs to change entirely. And then make sure I'm grabbing that picture. Stretch it. You should make an option to become a female or a male. So you won't get attacked by feminists. No, it's going to be about this guy. The whole point of it, too, is that I would add more, like, variables and stuff like that, like different clothing and things. And I might down the road, at least for my hero, but as far as most characters, they're all going to look the exact same because that's a whole nother sprite sheet I have to add. Just the way the sprites are made, I have to use the whole character, not just pieces, to limit the amount of armor stands I'm using, and which limits lag. And I feel like performance is preferred over eye candy and stuff. Alright, catch you later, Super Mario Craft. How do I feel about 1.14? I don't really care about Minecraft updates right now. I'm still in 1.12 for this game, if that makes any sense. Alright, so we have the first arm in here, and we're going to compare it to the bottom down here. So his arm is like stretched across, right? We can kind of do the same thing with our pixel art, and I think I might actually just do that. But I'm going to move his arm so I have the palette, right? So essentially, his arm comes across about right here, and it's like 4 pixels, and then it goes down, basically stretching across like this. And then this arm is actually this color. And then we can come out like this. And then we have texture like this. And then we can just fill it in for the time being. And make sure it has the right thickness, because right now it doesn't. But that looks somewhat decent, like an actual arm for this character, right? You hope I don't need any ray casting? I mean, I could use ray casting. There was methods before 1.13 and functions and all that. Using boats and whatnot, and it's not laggy whatsoever. But I don't think I need any. For spells and things like that, it's all going to be pre-programmed, like the distance and all that, except for ones that you can control yourself, which I'll just use the actual game mechanics that I use for characters already, so. Are you going to use the sliding animation to make it in the gaps and stuff like that? I'm not entirely sure about gaps, because right now it's only left and right facing, right? And you can't see gaps facing left and right because it's top down. So up and down you can see gaps, but it wouldn't make sense if you had to slide up and down. I will be using the slide animation though, and I'm going to mix it with attack animations. So if you slide and then attack, it'll be a different animation that happens. So it'll be like an attack where you come out of the slide and do a flip and then like ground slam. It'll just be a different attack you can do, I suppose. It might affect damage a little bit, kind of like, you know, winding up an attack, but in a more creative way, I think, than just holding down left click, which is actually probably harder to detect. So. Alright, so we have his arm down here goes at like a diagonal angle. So we're just going to paint in basically the same thing we did up here, and actually this should be like this. I'm going to make this go one more back, like this. Alright, it's more like a sleeve, I think. He's got like this light gray for the end of the sleeve and then this for the forearm, so it's a little different. You're playing piano and trying to watch the stream at the same time? I can barely talk and watch, do the stream at the same time, so kudos to you. Alright, so it goes down like this. This arm is actually not too bad, far from what it needs to be, but we're going to try to keep it simple and make it actually a little bit shorter than the arm originally was. Something like this, right? That's not terrible. Might have to go back and forth a little bit, editing and whatnot. And now I can actually just get rid of this arm because I have the palette over here in its entirety, so that's the only thing we'll ever have to affect. I like the stance too. I think it looks neat. I'm gonna go ahead and add the cape back in. Might actually be quicker to go to this guy and find a cape that has a decent stance. Right here is not too bad. I tend to... Let me get this in here. Why is this cape so short? I never realized that. It's more like a scarf, right? But sometimes it gets longer. Sometimes it's shorter. It's a little weird. I'm just going to edit the bottom down here so it's the length that I want it to be. And then get rid of some of this. Maybe like this. Actually, just going to move the whole thing down one, I think. Oops. Doesn't look terrible. I think it's too thick still, but whatever. Isn't that part of his scarf? Yeah. It's, if you take a look at it, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Like, it's just a scarf because it's thinner, but on these pictures it looks more like a cape. But right here you can clearly see it's a scarf, but then right here it's thicker, so it looks like a cape, and it's like, it doesn't know what it wants to be. And like right here, it reaches his entire body when he's like crouching in the air upside down. It's like Dr. Strange's cape. Not gonna lie. Where's my picture? Okay. It looks like he's ready to fist fight, yeah. I would suggest moving the top left pixel one to the right. You mean this guy? It's beautiful. That fixed the whole thing. It still is kind of... We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. That's not the important part. But yeah, that does look a little bit better already. So it was just thick, and I didn't know where it was thick at. Alright, so we're ready for this to not be this color. We need this, maybe? No, that makes the two hands mash too much. So we have the bow, and it's kind of purple, right? I think I'm going to keep that because I like the retro look to it. So we're just going to get it, see if it looks good. I might change the color of the arrow, but we'll see as well. And then what is the actual bow here? This? And then I guess this is too, but for some reason... Maybe it's just for animation's sake. But the lower part of the string is... Like, see, right now it's fully gray. But on the bent part, it's light gray at the bottom. I think that might have just been a separation tactic, and he never fixed it, whoever made this tile set. And I selected the wrong layer. Dang it! Alright. It's this guy. Cool. And we want to make sure it's above everything here. Where is it? So it comes out like this. Something like this. It's a little muddy, huh? Towards the bottom of the hand, maybe. I don't want it to be too far out so it's like over here, but I don't want it to be like too close where this hand is like past it. So we either have to shorten the hand or decide if this is good or not. I think this right here is actually not bad. Especially just for the beginning. It's just one frame and then another frame, and then it's the whole stretching of the bow frame, so. Would it be possible to change out the arrows in game? As in like make a different type of arrow? Yeah, it'd be the same thing as what I'm going to be doing for the inventory selection system, you know? So if the character is holding a specific item or selected a specific item, that's the item he uses. So I could just have different arrows being selected as well. But I don't know if that's going to be necessary. So the color of his hand is actually the same color as the tip of the arrow, which is kind of a problem. I think I'm going to make it different for now. I'm not sure what color. I can even do just slightly different gray, to be honest. And because the end of the hand is dark gray, I could just make it a lighter gray again. So something like this, just so I can differentiate the effects of it. So this is the bow and the arrow, and then I'm gonna forge these two so they're together, and then forge these two. Yeah, so we have our human, right, our hero, and then we have this guy, which is the bow and arrow. And this is going to be the first frame. It's looking decent. I do have to add the shadow for the bottom of the character, but we'll do that at the end because it's just copy and paste pretty much. Do you need music for your game? There's a bunch of royalty-free music out there that's simple and easy to add. As far as like original soundtrack, yeah, I have nobody to make that, and I can't make music, so if it's necessary, I gotta sort that out at some point. You'd be glad to make music for free? My dude. I mean, hit me up. Problem with that is that I don't know what kind of music I want either, so that's always an issue. My cat knocked something over. Let me take a look. Thing. We have this little tiny picture frame that we hung up next to my cat tree, and to match the size of our cat, of course. And she just knocked it down because she hates it. Alright, so we also have grids here too. So this is like a 32 by 32 size, which is the size of our pixel art, right? We gotta make sure it doesn't stretch outside of that, and we kind of want to make sure it's centered too, because all of our other like standing sprites are centered. So as long as this one's centered, we don't have to mess with any like summon coordinates or anything like that, or entity data coordinates. Not coordinates, but scaling sizes and whatnot in the post. So that looks good. And then we're gonna actually just take this guy and put him over here. Like a so. So we actually copy and pasted 2 layers as well. So the first layer, whoops, is just the bow again, and then the second layer is the guy. So we can affect the arms and this, you know, independently. I'll catch you later, Agent Decay. Thanks for stopping by. Will the character be able to jump? I don't have any plans of it right now, because aesthetically, the way I'm making the layers up here above and below the character will kind of get in the way. So if there's a wall that he can jump over, I can't have that layer be above the character at any time. So it would kind of limit the character's pathfinding and stuff, especially for other characters. Alright, so his bow needs to be more upstretched. Like so. But also shorter. Oh, that looks terrible. Alright, we're just going to do the pixel art on then. At least from this point. So we have the arrow that's being knocked back. Starts like this. It's 3 arrows, and it goes back. We'll just do something like this so it fits into his hand right there, I think. That might actually be too far back, but we'll see. And then we have these guys, which are different now. I really butchered that all the way down. Cool. That looks decent. Alright, so actually looks like this is 1 over. Cool. So the frames will actually speed up as we go on too. Just because of the way they're shaped. Like these 2 ones are like diagonal and move a lot, but these 3 literally just stretch and then it goes back down, which I could just kind of take these 2 frames but take out the arrow as aside from this. So you can see his arrow's not knocked back. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but. So, yeah, I mean, I'll just do it like this for now. And then it'll come down under the hand. Kind of diagonal, I suppose. And then it flattens out a little bit. Will the battle system transition you to a different type of scene like Pokemon? No. No. I don't like turn-based games. So just from a personal reference, I will not do that. But I thought about it just because it'd be way easier, which is why games like that back in the day did that. The whole detection thing and making it so enemies have knockback and all this stuff. You don't need to worry about that as long as you just make it turn-based or have some weird system like that, you know. But you also don't need to worry about that if the game you're making can handle it, which I think mine can, so hopefully it works out. Alright, so we have the arms different here. This arm needs to be more like this. Oops. And this is going to come up like this. And I realized I painted that onto the wrong layer. There we go. Dang it. Alright. The lower one looks like Van Gogh, yeah. He's got the face for it. Alright, where's this at? It's hard to see. So this needs to go... Yeah, I just need to go back, I think. So it's not the same layer. It's too hard to fix it this time. Alright, so we have the boat, but we have the character, and this is what I need to paint on. Alright, round 2. This is gonna go like this. And then we need the lower color. Something like that, just so it's more slanted. Whoops. That doesn't look terrible. Alright, we'll see. So if we just put the bow here, it's about the same size it needs to be. But this guy's arm... Nah, it actually works pretty well like that. I think that's fine. Alright, we're gonna go on to the next frame where he's fully vertical with the bow. One ear too much. Actually, can't even see his other ear, so you don't even know. I mean, maybe his right ear. I'm not sure which ear it was, but... What will this game be about? He just joins. Kind of hard to explain. So the actual story of the game, I'm not going to go over, but it's more just going to be like a top-down RPG style game. There's going to be exploration. It's going to be kind of similar to Zelda: Link to the Past, but with a little bit updated graphics. So, if that makes any sense. I can go in kind of like gameplay mechanics if you like. I'm actually just going to copy and post this bow down here. Just the whole thing. We got this guy, this guy. It looks like he's missing pixels for some reason. That's weird. My cat's trying to jump in my lap. Don't do it. I was kind of expecting a dungeon crawler. There's only going to be a couple dungeons. Most of it's going to be overworld stuff, to be honest. Because his arm's too low for the third frame. I really like the lighting and the art that's overworld. Oh, my cat's in my lap. Don't do it. Don't do it, kitty. Okay. She loves me. Was the screen you showed in previous videos inspired by Link to the Past? Oh, screen where your house is? That's... Yeah, I mean, the whole game was pretty much at this point. What layer is this? The whole thing? Okay. What does this need to be? I think this whole thing needs to be one up still. He has little nubby hands. I don't think that's right. That looks a little better. And yeah. It looks silly, but when the bow's there, it'll look a little bit better, I think. Just some guy. If you use a transparent layer, you may be able to have a torch with a dynamic layer. Yeah, I've already done that. I have a dynamic lighting system. I actually showed it off in a video too, somewhere. But if you look at Twitter, there's GIFs of it. And yeah, I mean, I have like a mechanic where if the... What does this look like? We match up the hands. And I don't mind if it looks different from the character between this one and this one. I'm just trying to line it up so it makes sense. Something like that's not bad, I don't think. After I get rid of the flesh from the other man's hand. Yeah, so I have dynamic lighting down already, where if you walk around, this circle of light follows you, and it uses transparent layers and armor stance and layer favoring and stuff like that that not a lot of people know about in Minecraft. I think it's looking good though. I was gonna remember to change the tip of this arrow. It's a different color than the one below. If we do something like this. That's not bad. Yeah, it looks weird because the eyes here, I mean, if you just like do it like this, right? That's what this character is doing, but blue eyes looks a little bit less prominent. And I could just make it with black eyes, right? Like this, but then he looks like he has no soul. So trying to decide on what to do with the face, I kind of just left it as is. Even that might even be fine, but it still kind of looks cartoony. It separates him from the other characters as well. He has a different head shape. His hair is different and whatnot. But as far as like the distance from the bow and stuff like that, yeah, it's different character sprite sheets. It's just for reference, like Dragon Master said. For instance, this man is exactly 32 pixels high. He's just simply taller than my character. So having it line up 1-to-1 would mean I'd have to either shrink the bow size, which isn't how the real world works, or I'd have to increase the size of my man, specifically only when he's using a bow, which also isn't how the world works, so... kind of just artistically trying to get in the middle somewhere. It looks like the bow actually needs to go one up. Oh no, I messed with his eyes on the same frame. It's okay. The reason being is because the hand needs to be below the bow, not above it necessarily. So I can kind of have it somewhere in the middle, I think. Oops. Something like this. And then just have this actually... Right? It just goes down, so it kind of deletes it actually. What layer is this, man? So this can kind of be like this, and then it goes like this, and then that's his arm. Perhaps? V-Panda, good luck. Thanks, man. Sometimes getting rid of the pixels makes it a little bit better too, so you can actually see what's going on here. Yeah, so it looks like this needs to be like this, so it fits up to the arrow like this hand does. I'm just gonna get rid of some bits here. Make sure the shadows line up. It's all one texture for him, but I have like different layers for my arm. So trying to make it look like my arm's not a noodle arm. It's kind of difficult. I think going back further is actually better. Because it goes down, right, down, and this does now too. But we just straightened it out. We kind of got to figure this out. The bow size fits better in my upper drawing? I think so too. This looks like a little toy. So I'm trying to work it out here. Also, these strings are different in this picture. I've realized. So I'm just gonna hop back here and fix this real quick. It's not very noticeable, especially in game, because it's not even diagonals, it's more straight lines. It looks more like I'm outlining my character almost. There's a lot of hype for Hightail. The hype should be redirected to this? No, dude. Hightail's gonna be way better. But, you know, the funding for Hightail's probably a little bit higher. Not gonna lie. Should this go back one more, like this? Is that two? That's two something. Also, that's not how that works. Oh, that makes sense. I forgot to pull this arm back. Because when it's pulling the string back, it needs to also move back. So we'll do some pixel art here real quick. So we're gonna move it to probably like right here. Let me find where this is. This is tough. Alright, what is this bow? The bow is everything but this pixel for some reason. Nice. Okay, so now we have that pixel, but it's somewhere else. This guy. Alright, we did it. Picchio? Picio? I don't know how to say your name, but how's it going, man? Alright. So this hand. Where is this man at? Why is this bow? Okay. Perfect. We did it. So, we're just going to move this hand in its entirety this way. Like it is. So he's got a little nub hand now. We got to fill in where the body was, which is also okay. Probably look something like this, to be honest. Add in some shadows. Probably under the hand here. No, doesn't look too bad. Yep, okay, looks good. So, pop this guy back in here, and that almost immediately looks better. I think it is. So his hand is actually on this thing. The only difference is that this layer with the bow is above this, and we need that to be different. It's be something like this. I'm gonna separate the hand from those two. Okay. It's in there. What's that? What is what? The this entirely is a character with a bow and arrow. As far as what it's for is for a thing I'm making called Project Campfire, which isn't the title of the video, so hope that makes sense. So here we are with this. We need to pull back even more according to the next picture. But not so much more. I think the picture actually stays the exact same. It does, it's just a double frame it looks like. That actually speeds things up quite a bit. It looks like we just skipped the next frame. But instead of building another frame and then putting it here, I can just, in the command blocks, because I have to animate it frame by frame, at least for ones that are linear animations, not like tileable, you know, GIFs, more low. I can just tell this one to last twice as long as this one. So that's what I'll do. So ta-da. So what we're gonna do is just actually get rid of this dude. And it looks like stuff does change, like his cape down here changes, but his actual arm, at least for where his hand starts, measures with his face, which is the same for right here. So it's like, I don't know what he did. I don't think he did anything. Like his hand is different. Maybe I should do something. It's just very subtle, so is it worth the time? I guess so. So we're gonna merge this layer down like this, and then this guy and this guy are gonna be the same layer. So now we have this guy, and this guy, who also needs to be merged down. Like so. Alright, so we're gonna move this guy over. So he's somewhere in the middle of the frame. Yeah. Make the left upper arm darker, like it is on the right. I don't know what we're looking at. So the left arm would be this one. Are you talking about our left? Or are you talking about right here? It's hard to say. Just gonna see what that looks like nonetheless. I mean, that actually looks better, even if that's not what you meant. I think that looks decent. Looks more like his shoulders coming out. Will your character blink? No. That's an idle animation that if I wanted to make, I'd have to like double the amount of frames I'd have to use. Which means I just have to add like twice as many frames to his idle animation, so he doesn't blink all the time. Which is just space that isn't really necessary. I think it's neat, and if I ever make something like this again, I could try to do something, but right now I'm just using so many assets that it's kind of getting to the point where the Diamond Hoe damage values are like running out of space. Or at least for the scale that I'm trying to do. I'm sure it's not going to get there, but I don't want to waste the stuff I could make on a blinking eye, so we'll figure it out. Alright, so got this guy. Cool. Copy him over. And just make sure he's somewhat in the middle of the grid here. I could do the exact measurement. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so he's the exact same distance. You don't want him to be like over here because then halfway through his animation is just going to pop over somewhere, so. So we're getting kind of close. This one isn't done. We have to do some stuff with his hand, it looks like. Or not this one. This one. I realized I skipped it. So his arm has to change here too. What am I looking at here? What is this? What? Okay. What is this frame? Oh, he was just under that. That's weird. Okay, this guy. We did it. We just have to paint this in so it matches. And then that's the same. Alright, so this guy, we actually skipped a frame, sorry. We just have to change his hand a little bit, like down here versus over here. His hand's more below it, so we're just gonna make it so that it's a little bit something like this. Too far. Should we even have it come up like this? Does this look like a thing? Or is this weird? Looks a little better. Just so there's some variation with the shooting, I suppose. We might come back to that. Alright, so if we come back to this guy, the actual arrow is gone, and this is the point where we'd actually have to copy the exact arrow position and make it its own 32x32 texture, so we could separate it from the bow and then animate it differently depending on, you know, the direction we're shooting and all that stuff. So, he goes up like this, shoots, and then once he releases, this arm goes back a little bit, it looks like. Just a couple pixels though. And this goes in there like this. Let me know too, guys, like, is there anything else you'd like me to add aside from, I mean, like, I have sword, bow, you know. As far as weapons go, it's like, if I want to add a new weapon, I have to do this every single time, you know. So I don't want to add something you guys don't want. I just wanted a bow and arrow, a fishing rod, and a sword. I can add more things. I plan on adding spells and stuff like that, but as far as everything goes, I'm not entirely sure what else I should add that's not just wasting time in terms of weapons and stuff. You could add cutscenes. Yeah, I plan on it. It'd be really easy with how I'm making the game. I would just make the player not be able to move, and then I can actually freeze everything, because all the AI actually works off of actual movement. So like if a zombie's walking, I could just apply slowness to everything and all the people will stop walking, because the system can't tell the little sprites to teleport if like the villagers and zombies can't walk either. So I can just freeze everything, even like projectiles and stuff, because they're going to be affected by entities. And then once that's done, I can sorry, I was thinking, once that's done, I can just pan the camera wherever I want by using the teleport command and move entities with programmed distances instead of making them follow another entity. A whip, maybe? That sounds really cool, actually. I'd get the tiny knife. There's other characters that I have that are actually going to have like little knives and stuff, like thieves and stuff. People that try to rob you or whatever. But the whip sounds really cool, to be honest. Just making the animation for that, it kind of reminds me of the fishing rod. I think would be cool. And then we need to get this arrow out of here before we forget. It's no longer a part of this entire thing. So just yeet it right out, and we're gonna figure out what was actually here. So he shoots, he pulls his hand back a little bit more, and the rest stays the same, I believe. So it's a little something like this. I'm gonna fix those pixels in a second. This needs to come out one more, actually. I think that'll look better. And also, the string's on the wrong side of his arm. So it should be like that. That's looking good. Trading. There's going to be NPC trading because it's going to be single player. I plan on doing stuff like that, similar to how Link to the Past did it, you know? Not as barbaric in terms of you walk in and the stuff's on the ground and you pick it up for a number that's above it, but it's going to be, you know, if you have enough, you can purchase it, but it's not going to be some huge menu where you cycle through a bunch of different food and stuff like Skyrim is. Especially since Skyrim's food is essentially pointless. What is your goal for this game? Well, also when do you plan on releasing this game? It's going to be released when it's done, essentially. These streams are to like motivate me to work on it even more and to get more done. So hopefully this helps. It's a little bit for me and not just for you, but it gives me a thought process and makes sure I do it to my utmost ability as far as quality and time efficiency and all that stuff. But basically, I wanted to make it by summer, sometime in there. Before then is cool, but I just don't want to rush it. Like, I can literally just update, put out a video and say, hey, there's this, and just have it one frame and you run around and it's like Bomberman. I could do that so easily, but I want to make like an actual story, an actual game, because that's what I wanted to do in the first place. I just did it in Minecraft because I don't know how to code. I didn't do it in Minecraft just to be like, hey, look what I can do. This is a cool concept. Alright. I'll read them more in just a second. I just want to see something here. Why is his hand so thick? That's okay. Get this out of here. Yeah, okay. So it just should be like this. And then not have a pixel here. At some point his hand just got super fat. It was like when it was crunched up and it was more like an elbow, right? It's like if you put your... close your hand, you put it to your shoulder. So there's just more density, I guess. I don't know. So it looks like this. And then he goes down, and then he goes down more, and then I go to the idle animation. Because you're not going to be walking around with a bow in your hand like this guy. Oh, like this guy does. You'll just be walking around with nothing in your hand, and then you'll shoot a bow. Just like Link to the Past does. What about tree branch that you can use for less damaging melee attacks? That's kind of neat too. It'd be a fun thing to do pixel art with too. Like going off of that, it kind of reminds me of the whip, where it's like the whip I feel like wouldn't do a whole lot of damage either, but you can use it for other things like puzzle pieces and stuff. Like kind of whip something that you can't reach, but it like brings it to you. I think that'd be really cool. As far as the stick, I'm not sure what I could do with that, aside from like, you know, lighting it on fire and using that for puzzles. Sorry, I'm coughing a lot. Let me drink some water. Thanks, Shrimp. Good look, my man. So far, you're killing it. Great job. Awesome. I like that feedback. It's nice. Will you have day-night cycles? It kind of depends. I might for some areas, because I could literally just put a blue hue over everything with another armor stand. But sometimes it doesn't look so great, and I also haven't found a reason to do so. Like, I could do like fog and stuff and rain. I think that makes more sense. But actual day-night, it's like I don't think I have any plans to do something where it changes at nighttime versus daytime. Or at least anything that's creatively worth the time putting in that mechanic. Like monsters don't come out at night or something. It's not monsters in this game for the most part, unless you're in dungeons. 1.14 adds Campfire, so I guess this project is unnecessary. Yeah, it only took him, what, 9 years to add Campfire? It's about the rate I'm going at though, so I don't blame him. Also, okay, so we have this. And he does this. So we just need to put the bow away, which I think I'll just do this way. but backwards. I'm not entirely sure. I think I'll just copy this frame actually. I'll work from this frame. We're almost there. Literally to make the other direction, we just flip it, but I'm only gonna do one direction at a time. Because I know there's not gonna be any trouble putting in the other direction. It's the exact same thing, I just flip the image, you know? So, pixel art works. And sprites, essentially. Alright, so it's relatively in the middle. We got the bow, but the bow needs to go down. And go down in a way where this is just deleted. And then this arm does something like this. Where it kind of goes down like this. What am I doing here? It's kind of like a little pygmy arm. What is going on here? What if we just do this? Will that do something? Pixelates it? Not bad. Looks good. Alright, actually what I think I'm going to do, just to speed up my problem with doing this, is copy and paste a slanted arm. That way, it is what it is, and it doesn't, I'm not just doing what I think needs to be done, you know? So I'm just going to delete that, paste this in, and so we have a new slanted arm. Aside from a few pixels, but that's okay. And I'm going to change it a little bit. It's only going to be one frame, so like a 10th or a 20th of a second, so not too bothered by it. And then we're going to merge it down. How's it going, Mr. Yurihi Redstone? Is that how you say it? How's it going, man? How long are you going to stream for, by the way? Probably until like 1:30, maybe a little bit later. And by that, I mean about 40 minutes, 30 minutes. Kind of depends on when I finish. I definitely have to finish like by 2 though, so because I have some like real world things to do. So if I mess around for a little bit, maybe I'll do that. Might play some Rocket League later too. Kind of depends on how I'm feeling. So this hand goes down like this. Where's the dark part? Here we go. Kind of does the same thing that the hand up here does. Some of the hand's going to be covered by this bow as well, so I'm not too bad. Or not too confused. What am I doing? This needs to be like this. Just adding some last second shadows there. Will you add pets? I plan on it. I'm not sure exactly how. I have followers in the game and stuff, so I added a mouse, which I showed off in last stream. I think like pets like that would be neat. Other than that, I'll add like animals and NPCs that do stuff like that. And rats are one of them, but I can easily just make any entity follow me. So as far as pets, I'm not sure what their benefit would be. You know, I'm not going to make a mouse attack somebody. But maybe you can use them for puzzle pieces too. Like mice can fit into smaller spaces. There's that. A distraction maybe. You can have them like bite something. And it sets off a chain reaction that scares enemies away. I don't know. Kind of endless possibilities there, but I'm open to the possibility. Trained birds. Yeah, birds is a good idea because they're ambient and I can have them fly over frames. The problem with that is how the frames work, so I'd have to make it so they avoid areas. Because if I have an area where a tree covers the player, I can't just have it not cover a bird. Unless I want it to fly over everything. So then in that case it can't fly under anything, which kind of limits me as well, so we'll see. Alright, where's this bow at? I'm actually just going to copy and paste this bow and see what it looks like. make sure this middle bit is kind of like where the hand is. And then it goes something like this. Minus a few pieces of the string, I guess. Let me drag it up. And it should be like this. That's not bad. Except for it goes behind the character here. Because as you see, it's in the front of the character right here. But when he puts it away behind him. And that's what I wanted to do too, because that allows me to... Sorry, I was thinking. That allows me to work out where the bow goes afterwards, which just disappears. Oof. He looks like a little cube man now. It just looks weird sometimes. I need to figure this out. Like he puts his hands down a little bit. Maybe that's it. Will the weapons all disappear Minecraft style? Yeah. Except for the sword on the back will be like a constant trait. But the like bow and when he uses like a whatever he uses, like a spell or something, it'll all go back to his original idle stance. That limits the amount of sprites I have to make by like hundreds, so. What's going on here? Yeah, it's shadows again. This arm is just like impossible, man. I don't understand. It's on 2 different layers and I messed it up and I'm too stubborn to fix it. And I think that's gonna be okay right there. Just gonna merge them both now. Okay, so no, that's all right. I'm so messed up right now. I don't understand. All right. Huh. I think that's actually fine. Does that look okay? It looks a lot better, to be honest. Are you gonna do any gameplay when you're done? Yeah. When I put the actual thing into the game, like the bow, animation, shooting, I'll test it out and I'll actually go in with command blocks and add it in. Hopefully. I still have to put it into the actual Minecraft folder and stuff so that, you know, the game knows how to read it. I'm trying to think if I should even add this frame. It's tough to decide. I think what I'll do is actually just go back to the idle animation, which is this guy right here, and then put him in here. So it's the same height and relatively in the middle. But then I'll add the bow in for 1 frame, so when it switches over the idle animation, it's not just a quick switch. Hey David, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. So this guy is good, but this one goes like this, and this bow like a this. and just goes behind him. Something like this. So if we look at it without all the pixels in the way, it looks like this. And before I do anything, which I think, hey, I think we're done with it, so that's pretty dope. We have a few things to add just real quick. I'd like to kind of make it so these are all in the middle a little bit. It looks decent, actually. This one can actually just go a little bit to the left. As well as this bow. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to merge all the layers. So even the entire thing is the same picture again. And then we're going to affect the cape a little bit so it just has some movement. It's not just static. Which I think is the best way to do animation, is to guess what it looks like. So it moves up a little bit there. We're going to have it get a little bit further away from his body down here. And then it's going to come back after like one frame. And then it's going to go down and then it's going to go way back out again, which is like very impossible to tell, but you know, while we're actually in the game, it's going to look a lot better, I think. Rainbow Blast, what is Project Campfire? I need to have a PSA sometime. That's what I need. Project Campfire, as you can see by the title, is a video game in Minecraft. I'm making a video game in Minecraft, essentially. Adding sprite sheets and stuff like that in, adding my own game mechanics. It's going to be completely independent of Minecraft once you actually enter the world. There's not going to be any Minecraft mechanics or anything. There's not going to be, you know, building blocks. There's not going to be any references outside of Easter eggs. And it's all in vanilla Minecraft, so if you have Minecraft on World download, you can play it. Probably need a resource pack too, or it's going to look real weird. Alright, so we have our dudes, and next thing we're going to do is actually start from beginning to finish. So we got this guy, and we're going to paste him in to this frame, and in this layer we're going to make it so it's animated, right? So the idea there is that we can make animations with frame animations in Photoshop, which is really neat. So I don't have to, you know, incorporate all the JavaScript and stuff like that, and then go into Minecraft and realize, oh, I forgot a frame, or oh, this looks stupid when it's animated, and I just couldn't realize it. I'm a dumb head. So it does technically waste time if you're confident, but it saves a lot of time if you want to do it right the first time. So I'm going to get rid of these two pictures. I don't need these anymore. Out of my face. And it's only going to take like a minute. We just have to copy all of them over there and then create the timings. And I just match up the feet because the feet are in the same spot the entire time. So the frames line up pretty good. Like so. Will you have public beta testing? Yeah. I plan on releasing it to all the Patreons I had and stuff like that. Whether or not they're still donating, it was like a one-time thing. As well as people that I choose. Which isn't going to be a whole lot, but some people that I'm friends with have been waiting for a while too, and they've been kind of tightening it with the project, so I'm going to let them play it first, probably. And they're content creators as well, so you guys could see it. It won't just be under the rug until it comes out. But not a bunch of people are going to be able to play it for you, so don't feel bad. Assuming I don't die before I finish this. And then the last frame is this guy right here. Ta-da! Paste it in. And the feet don't line up, of course, because it's a different movement, but I think what I'll do is just like this. Looks good. So now what I can do is create a frame animation, starting off with this guy, And then the next frame is this. And now you can't really tell what's going on here. But that's okay. You can see the stop frame animation in like 1 frame every 4 seconds right now. Alright, and then we just set so it's on like a 0.1 second delay, which is every tick. So it'd be every 2 game ticks in Minecraft, which is important to know for later. And when we play it, it looks like this. And we just have a repeat, so it's not stupid. It'll look a little stupid because it's not like a tileable thing, but shoots the bow, shoots the bow. Yeah, I gotta mess with the cape a little bit, it looks like. The arm snaps quite a bit. On a small scale, it doesn't look too bad though. Like, this is what it's gonna look like. Are you gonna release an update video on YouTube soon? Yeah. The plan was to do it all the time, but it just slows down the progress of making it. Trying to record a video showing off what I did and how I did it is like more time consuming than streaming, because I actually get work done while I'm streaming instead of doing work and then talking to myself for 2 hours about what the work I did. Which is kind of hard to explain, but that's what it looks like right now. I realized for some reason he doesn't have a sword while he's shooting a bow. So I think I'll have to go back and copy and paste that real quick. But other than that, it's looking good. Shooting a bow, ta-da. Let's mess with some timings real quick just to see. So like when we're knocked back like this, what if we do it to like 0.2 seconds? So it's like 4 ticks. That way he has like a half a second where he's aiming, right? I think that looks a little better. What do you guys think? So this is essentially what it looked like if you were just spamming the shoot the arrow button. Let's go ahead and put a background in there too, just so we can see. I usually use a green, something like this. And it's gonna be like this. How's it look? Yeah, the cape is a little weird. What are you using right now? I'm using Photoshop. CS6, I believe. I don't even know. So let me fix this here. So instead of this picture right here, going from this to this to this, I'm just gonna have it go from this to this and then stay that. So it's like another frame, I think. That way it looks less like it's flopping around and more like it's moving with the motion. So what we're gonna do is just copy this, delete this, and this one. I'm gonna copy it. So it goes. Is it too low down? What's going on here? Why does the cape get shorter? Oh, it's just the animations of it. Each frame keeps this little thing on. It's kind of annoying. Alright, so it's like this. It goes up, but that's no bueno. So we're just gonna have it like this, and then we're gonna take out this guy. So it stays the same. something weird up here too. I didn't mean to do this. What is that? All right, no problem. So it's just the bottom of the cave. Does that look better? I don't know. Are you gonna do a sword for each frame too? Yeah. I think what I'm gonna do is actually... I don't know. How do you plan on doing the controls for the game? Or have you figured that out already? Yeah. Like Dragon Master said, I figured out movement. I already figured out sword combat. I'll be showing that towards the end of the stream when I put the bow animation into the game. I'll show you guys what the sword one looks like, and then I'll try to put the command blocks in for the bow, at least for the right-facing direction. And then I'll just do a left-facing direction off camera. As well as maybe even the actual arrow leaving the bow and, you know, hitting enemies or getting stuck in walls, which I plan on doing as well. But hopefully, I don't know, we'll see. I might just kill the arrow if it hits a wall. Will there be any skills you can improve, like accuracy and strength, or upgradable skills? I don't plan on doing it like that. I think I'm just going to do it like the heart system, like Zelda does, where it's like the longer you play, you find more hearts and stuff like that, or you unlock more hearts. That way, I don't change damage values of things, I just change how much damage you can take, which allows you to be more ambitious with what you do, but then allows you to go to bigger areas without dying as easy. So it's kind of more like a loose limiter on where you can go, as opposed to, you know, you don't want to go to too high level of an area. But as far as upgrading skills and movement or whatever, it's going to be more like you just find more things. Like you won't start out with a bow, but you'll get a bow from whatever means that might be, and then that'll allow you to go to new areas with puzzles that use a bow, or, you know, kind of classic concepts there. But yeah, so it looks like we got it. If not, I can always come back and change it, you know, it's gonna be a while. I still have to make a left-facing one, so I gotta decide before I do that, but I think it's looking pretty good. So what we're gonna do is actually go into our Minecraft folder and see what we have and where we gotta put this, because I haven't done it in a hot minute, so I gotta remember what I'm doing. And what to name it and all that. So resource packs, project Campfire, assets, Minecraft, textures, blocks, we got it. So this is all the, which you can't really see and stuff. I've added quite a bit of things. You can see custom textures and layers and fog. Of course, it still has the default Minecraft textures, but that's just for the purpose of still playing Minecraft if you like, I don't know. This is the attack animation for left and right. I just have it /left/right, 1 through however many frames there are. So what I'm going to name these as is bow right, bow left, basically. I think that would be the simple one, because if I use arrow, then when I add arrows that are projectiles later, when I'm animating those, it might kind of confuse me. I gotta drink some. You move the bow closer to the chin, you say? I suppose? I don't know. Usually when I shoot a bow, I bring the string up to my chin, which is kind of what's going on here. Not necessarily the bow itself. Maybe the hand, though? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that makes sense. I think I'm going to stick with this, though, just for the sake of moving the stream on and stuff and being able to show you guys what it looks like in-game. Alright, so, I mean, all we really have to do, right, is just control, copy, we got this, so we're just going to save it, and then it's going to be a PNG, because that's how Minecraft reads things, and then it's going to be bow right 1. And then we just have to save each individual frame. We can make GIFs. I know the process of doing that, but that's not very handy for this. Jeez. Because in Minecraft, you can't tell a GIF where to start and stop. So when you use entity data and switch to a GIF, it could just be in the middle of the animation like this, and the animation ends like right here as it goes around again. It's not very easy. I'm doing a frame by frame animation, right? So I have to make each frame. And then Bo writes 2. And not save it as a PSD. Sorry. I'm distracted by how much I'm coughing. You guys probably are too. Sorry. Not used to talking for 2 hours straight all the time. I haven't done YouTube in a while because of that, so it's like crazy. What am I doing? Alright. This is just a quick process. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to ask them now, because you're just going to be looking at this for a hot minute. Red too good at pixel arts? I am decent at pixel art. Like, I can do basic things. Like, a majority of this was cannibalizing pixel art that already existed and making it into my own thing, right? Which is essentially what I'm doing for this entire game. Because I know I can make pixel art, but doing it from scratch is just time consuming. And usually you don't have to, you know? As far as this bow animation goes, it's like, here we go, you know? Still, it took a while, which is why, you know, this game is taking a while, but hey. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I just made 4, right? Hopefully. Yeah. I keep messing it up. I'd be done by now if I just did the right thing. Okay. Bow 5, and I wish you can set it to default, be something else. I can't figure out how to do that. I know it's probably for safety reasons, so you save the right thing, or save what you're doing or whatever, but having to select PNG every time is like, kills me. You forgot the sword? The sword is... What do you mean? Like, I forgot to put it in the game? It's already in the game. And if you meant I forgot to show it, I'll be showing it before I show off or go into command blocks. I might not even be able to have time to go into the command blocks today, which kind of disappoints me. But I'll show you the sword. You already see what the animation looks like, so it's not going to be too much different in Minecraft. But the process, I'm sure some of you guys are looking forward to, especially if you've been here for like the last however many hours. Alright, so it looks like it's 7 frames, which is about the same as a swing attack. The difference between the swing attack, though, is that... where is it, the swing attack? I don't know. One animation... Oh, it's the hurt animation. He gets hurt, and then I just put the same animation, but in reverse. So it's twice as many frames without having to add twice as many frames. I don't know. You forgot to add with each frame? Oh, the sword. Yeah, you're right. You are right. Dang it. Maybe it won't be noticeable. Dang it. Alright, I'll have to do that later then. I'm sorry about that. Basically, the sword's on my back here, but it's not in all the other frames. So it's just going to disappear in-game, which is kind of weird. Dang it. Dang it. That really bothers me. But yeah, I'll do it later, though. I feel stupid for saying the things I said about adding a sword. Alright, so this is what we got. From that orange, you know, Van Gogh looking boy to my dude. And then... ta-da. So, we can actually close Photoshop? But I'm gonna leave it open, just so you guys don't see my messy desktop. Don't worry about it. Magic Ninja Sword. Yeah, it's actually just a magic sword. When you pull out a bow, it's invisible. So it's like the least efficient way to have a two-handed sword. Alright, so let's pull up this guy again. And we just need to open up the folder that has all these guys. And I think I'm just going to drag it from here. I just want to make sure it's all named the right thing. As you can see, bow right 1 is not PNG. What the heck? Yeah, apparently... Wait a second. I tried to open this up, and it was asking me if I wanted to use portal2.exe. What do you think happens if we try to open up bow right 1 with portal2.exe? That's the real question. We're gonna try it, boys. We're diving in deep. Oh boy. Hopefully that didn't end the stream. Ah! That's so loud. We messed it up. We did something bad here. All right. I'm not too sure what I expected, but it was for science. All right, we got Portal out of there. Yeah, dude, Valve's intro makes me piss my pants every time, so that was like an extra jump scare. I forgot that happens. Secret portal test level, yeah. Good times. Okay, so we gotta fix that. I don't know what I did, so I'm just gonna save it again. What was it? Bow, right one. I mean, it's there. I'll replace it, I guess. I don't know, dude. It's literally the exact same thing. I just want to look at it. I'm just so confused. It doesn't exist. Whatever. Okay, we'll just copy these ones then. Alright. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we drag it into the textures for the blocks. So we have the whole animation there. And then what we need to do is go to the models, and then item, and then we're going to the template for art, which is the retextured damage value for diamond hose. And then we need to find something similar. So this is the layer frame. So we need to find something similar. Let me a second here. My voice is killing me. I don't know what I did today. Alright, here we go. Will there be any Minecraft-like start menu? Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a start menu, but after you go through Minecraft, because it's still Minecraft, right? So when you open the world, there'll be like a start menu that says like new game or credits and stuff like that. You won't be able to have more than one save game, so it'll be just like any other Minecraft adventure map in that sense. I could add that, but nobody's going to care about that, to be honest. It's going to be a relatively short game, too. It's not going to be like 50 hours, so making separate saves is irrelevant. It'll save where you are in the game, but only for that specific game. Okay, so I need to find this out here real quick. So the thing about these two is that slashing is actually a 64 by 64 texture, as opposed to like standing still or anything else. So it's going to mess up the scale of things. Because I have the 64 by 64 textured scaled down. I can show you that real quick right here. As you can see, scale is like 0.10 instead of like however much it is. I think it's like 0.40. So the 64 by 64 texture is the same size as the 32 by 32 artwork and stuff. I basically just have to find this again, which is really annoying. This is it right here. So it looks like it's 0.05 and this. And this is the sheath animation, which is a 32 by 32 texture, so cool. All right, so I'm just going to copy the scale into this. This is the complicated, boring part of doing what I do, by the way. So, sorry you guys gotta watch this. So instead of slash left 8, we're gonna use bow right 1. So it replaces the diamond hoe texture to this. What's up, Ghoul66? How's it going, man? And then for the scale down here, Well, I just deleted it, so. I think it was 0.5, but want to make sure. 0.05, 0.15, 0.05. And then for some reason translation is different as well. So I think I'm just gonna... I think I'm just gonna copy this whole thing right here. If I can. Because I do translation for this one too. So it's like this. Copy it in. So now it's the same. So this should be the 32 by 32 size. Translation, which is exactly in the middle. And then scale, which is a little bit bigger than the 64 by 64. And it's got the right path name. So we just save this one. It's template for art 95. And we just want to close a bunch of these guys so we have room to do this. I have so many open. Oh boy, okay. We did it, boys. Crafter bows. You're back, what's happened when you're gone? We finished the animation. Looks a little something like this. We forgot the sword, so don't worry about it. Looks a little bit better on the smaller scale that it is. Looks a little bit more fluid. And we're currently putting it into the Minecraft files using JavaScriptos. So we just made our first guy, which is our first frame template for art 95. We just copy and paste that. I think there's 7 frames, right? So we need to do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times because we already got the first frame done. And then we find template for art and we rename them all and change a couple numbers and letters in them, and then ta-da, we can put it in Minecraft. It's just gonna take a second. So, where is it? What are we looking at here? 2. No. So it always confuses me. It's 95, but then 2, but copy is the first one. So it doesn't really matter the order we do this in, but just for simplicity's sake. So we just go bow right 2. We save it, Control S, and then we yeet out of there. And then we also want to rename this 96. So now it's a different damage value for the diamond hoe, as well as a different path for the animation. 97. And this seems complicated. This has all been possible for a very long time. This is actually a method that a lot of people use when they're doing models and stuff. I just do it in a weird way. I don't know. Might actually be faster if we just rename all these first and then go by, so we don't make a mistake. Are you planning on doing any more vlogs? No, man. Probably not. Maybe down the road sometime, but right now I'm concentrating on this to the point where I don't even have time to make actual videos, let alone mess around videos and stuff. Dude, we made it for template art 100. We've added 100 pieces of art to this game so far. Allegedly. I might have skipped a few to get even numbers so I don't confuse myself. Magnum opus moment that nobody will ever remember. Okay, 101. Cool. So where do we stop? That's the question. We stopped at 97. And 97 was block bow right 3. So 98. And then we're just going to open up these guys as well. So bow right 4, save it, bow right 5, save it, and bow right 6, save it, and 7. I just looked at the intro video for this, and I gotta say, damn, it's looking good. Thanks, man. It's actually improved quite a bit. Just haven't made an intro video anymore, so there you go. Alright, okay. So it's in the game. It's in the textures. It's in the redated diamond hoe. So now it should be in the game. Should be in the game. I don't know what else I gotta say. So 95. So 96 is the number because it's always one different in Minecraft that we have to remember. So let's do that. So I'm gonna close this, close this, close this, We're gonna close Photoshop as well. This is where my stream messed up yesterday, so hopefully it doesn't. Basically, when I opened up Minecraft, because I'm streaming with Shadowplay, it doesn't know how to record Shadowplay, so I have to use a program that specifically launches Minecraft in full screen mode. So I ended up learning C anyway? No, I have no idea how to use it. This is all based off of tutorials that Samosaurus 6 used. I don't know what any of the things I'm doing means. I just know how to edit numbers that already exist, thanks to Minecraft. Alright, so we're gonna open this up. We're gonna close this and the output, because it's stupid. And we're gonna see what happens to this stream. It looks like I'm photoshopping Minecraft right now. That's not the case. Alright, here we go, full screen. Did it work? Did I do it? I didn't do it yet. Do we do it, boys? There we did it! We did it! Haha! Alright. I was too excited about that. And I'm gonna close Photoshop so I don't use much extra resources. I don't need to save any of that. What's up, Cannon? How's it going, man? Did I make this art? No. A lot of it is from templates online that are free, or either I have the permission to use. Some of it's purchased as well, but not anything I'm using in the stream today. Thanks to people that donated on Patreon and stuff made it possible. What's up, Caddy? How's it going, man? Or lady? Cat fan? That's all you really need to know. Look at all my worlds. Look at all of them. So, this one right here was my first world. It says March 2018. I started in March 2016, actually, when I first tried to make a concept for this. But yeah, regardless. Let's go to Minecraft. So a lot of you guys were asking about the melee attack and stuff like that. I'll show you guys real quick. I don't remember if I turned it off or not. Let me take a look. Where's it at? Looks like it's on. Everything's good. See if it's working. So this is the frame we added yesterday. Or, not yesterday, last stream. We can go behind the trees and stuff like that. It's looking real good. We have pillars that we can go behind, shadows that affect us. It's kind of hard to see, but the shadows do actually affect our character. In a daytime bright scene, it's kind of hard to see, so. But it looks beautiful. We don't have the bounding boxes on yet, so we just walk through stuff. That's mainly for the point of testing and stuff. And then we also have attack animations, like a so. So when we swing, we affect the person. He has this hurt animation, and it applies a knockback as well, which allows us to run away and get time to swing again, or, you know, do whatever. Some characters won't have knockback, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to attack them and whatnot. Some of you guys probably haven't even seen this character that I'm attacking, but he's just another character added to the game. We're going to attack in both directions. It's friendly in a way where if we don't look in his direction when we swing, it won't hit him. So that way we don't hit things behind us, like an AoE attack, even though there will be AoE attacks. If we look towards him and swing, it attacks him. And that's pretty much it. So hope you guys like it. You like the ray tracing? Yeah, man, this is RTX on right here. I don't know if you guys know, but I have my 2080 plugged in. And, yeah, I don't know. I play Minecraft, so what am I doing? Regardless. Real-time ray tracing. Step out of the way, Battlefield. Alright, and we are in Minecraft, by the way, if you guys question it. Take off the boots, we get out of there. This is the world that we're in, and we're looking down at this block right here. But from inside of this capsule that I've made. The other character is in front of you, even if it's behind you, right? Visually? Yeah, I can change that. I'm not going to change it on the go, but I think I'm just going to make it so my character is permanently in front of everybody. So that way all my attack animations are there, but it's going to get in the way of their attack animations, so to favor one or the other is kind of impossible with the way the layers work. Probably find ways around it, but I'm not going to put that much effort into something that's actually in full released games as well, so. Cool doodle. Really excited for this game. Thanks, man. This is some advanced stuff. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the command blocks, you'd probably yell at me, right? A lot of people don't like that I'm using command blocks, which pisses me off. I don't care. It's fine. I like command blocks better than functions. Obviously, functions are better for performance and stuff. I mean, if we hop in... I mean, I'm not lagging, but that's okay. Some of you guys might on a toaster computer. This is more resource friendly than Minecraft itself if you're walking around in a normal world. I'm using 2% of my memory. For some reason, I'm allocating 6 gigs. Don't know why. And I have it capped to 90 FPS regardless. It doesn't mess up with my CPU temps or anything. It works pretty well so far. I mean, obviously it's not completed, so it might lag the more I add to the game, but we're not even close to that point yet, so. I have all the stuff turned down for the sake of this is what it's going to feel like ultimately. I don't want to just like turn down settings as it goes, yeah. Da-da-da. Borkenstein, this game looks really cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Working hard on it. So this right here is our little block that we summon our diamond hose with. So for instance, 62, I don't even know what that is. Oh yeah, it's our little mouse guy. So this is our animated mouse. Some of you guys were asking about pets earlier. This is one that could possibly be a pet. He's very tiny. This is how tiny the scale of the game is. He real tiny. Martin just joined. What'd you miss? We just added a bow and arrow animation to the game. We're currently trying to figure out where it's at. I think it's 96, but I could be wrong. Let's see if it's right. So there we go. That's what our character looks like holding a bow. Obviously, we have to animate it with the specific frames. So we're going to have to do that. And he is right in the middle of the block, as you can see, according to the grid-like structure I use as a template. Is this like a resource pack? Yes. This is a resource pack mixed with a bunch of command blocks and stuff. Will this work on Pocket Edition? No. Pocket Edition, let alone Bedrock Edition, can't even do this yet. There's some cool stuff you can do with Bedrock Edition, but it's very limited in terms of like what you can do. Pocket Edition's pretty far away as well. We need to be able to edit block models in a way that allows this scaling and stuff. And from what I know, can't do that. And there's a bunch of other stuff. There's like commands that I need to use. I don't even know if the detect command's even in Bedrock Edition and stuff like that, so we'll see. Alright, so we have our little dude over here. We know that he exists, so that's good. The first thing we need to go over real quick, and after I increase my field of view to what it usually is for a Minecraft player so you guys don't get seasick, we need to take a look at what's going on here. So slashing right and slashing left, this is the command blocks I'm using for doing those two things, right, with a sword. But the fishing only has one right now because I'm only doing it in one direction. So slashing right and slashing left is two different things. These blocks up here are dependent on what characters are in the frame. So this chain right here is all for the animations that are customly set up for being hit by a sword for our NPC. So right here is all we need. I guess this line of command blocks is all we need to frame by frame animate and detect hitting and stuff like that for a sword attack. So it'll be pretty similar to a bow. So for instance, let's just go ahead and take a look at slashing right because we're going to be doing bow right today, which is just going to continue right there. And bow right is a bunch of command blocks, right? And I'll answer some questions in a second. I just want to read over this real quick. So 4 is the direction we're facing. It tells which way our character is facing. So 4 is to the right and then 2 is to the left, like so. So we have to make sure that we remember those as the road goes on. So we have at scoreboard players add slash animation 1. So we have a scoreboard, a custom scoreboard that we need to add. Objectives. I passed it like 7 times. Add. I want to make sure the caps are all the same. Okay. Bow animation. And then it's a dummy, of course. So now we have that, and then what we need to do next is set display so you guys can actually see what's going on. You won't be able to see for a second, but bow animation. So now bow animation's on the right side, even though you can't see it. And then essentially we'll just read through this whole thing and then make our own for the bow. So what this says is it's executing at a player, which is me. There's only a single player. And then detecting for 4, which is facing to the right. And if it is facing to the right and a command or a redstone block is set here, which happens when I left click down here. Basically left click detection sets a redstone block here, depending on which tool I'm using. So if I'm using a fishing rod, it's going to set a redstone block here and here. If I'm using a sword, it's going to set a redstone block here and here. If I'm using a bow, it's going to set a redstone block here and here. And that's how I'm going to optimize the game in terms of using different tools and stuff. So it's not constantly testing stuff that it doesn't need to be. And then I'm just going to clone this command block in back and forth depending on what item I'm holding. So nonetheless, the sword facing in a specific direction starts this animation. And the first thing that happens is actually the frame animation. So it does the same tag, you know, it's executing at character 1, which is my little sprite. And if it's a at a specific frame, where is it? Yeah, so at 1 tick, so 1 game tick, so 1 frame, this one happens at 3. So every 10th of a second, the frame will change from, you know, 70 to 71 to 72 and so on and so forth until the animation is done. And then at the end, it'll do some cleanup, which is it sets it back to the standing animation, and then it fills at the end of the animation, it fills this area with sponge, so it stops activating itself. And then it affects, you know, my player looking in a specific direction. I could just do at A, but who knows. I just copy and pasted at 4 in there at the end. It gets rid of my slowness, which is applied right when I start. And then it sets slash animation to 0. This animation up here actually uses slash animation as well. So there's a possibility that I don't think I even need to have a bow animation dummy. I think I could just use slash animation, which I should probably rename to attack animation, or use animation, where it freezes my character for a specific amount of time, because I'll never be able to use the bow and the sword at the same time. It just doesn't exist. So I think that's what we're going to do, actually, is just copy and paste that sword animation. And this is how I get slowness right away, is at the very beginning it pops up over here. Stretching. So what's the history behind that you changed your username back to Red Nomster? That was my, yeah, like I said, Awesomeness, this is my original name. And I planned on doing stuff with couch camping as a way to disassociate the channel with just being myself. I wanted to play with other people and stuff. Didn't want people to come to the channel just for me. But that didn't end up happening, so I'm just gonna go back to the OG name. I missed it as well, so. Alright, so the first thing we need to do as well as this is make sure our character can't move while the animation is happening, so we just, you know, clone in this point, and then we make sure it's 4 because that's the direction we're facing for the right direction. Alright, and that's set up, and then we have to get this guy, which is testing in the correct direction, and then it's doing slash animation, which is correct. This command, like so. It's always active, and it's unconditional, so only when the repeating command right here goes off. Not again, Alexa. Shut up. She heard me. My bad. So basically, we just copy this in, but instead of 70, we start with 96, because that's the first frame of our animation. And that's all we do. As far as the rest of the commands go, we just do the same thing until we get to the end. And I forgot, I think it ends at 102? Let me see what 101 is. I don't want to put too many in there. It might actually be 101, because 102, if it's a giant purple square with a bunch of checkers on it. No, it is 102. So this is what the last frame of the animation looks like if you went around for that. Anyways. Alright, so come over here. We can just copy and paste this block a bunch of times. probably like that many times, I'm not sure. So 96, we just change this value to 97, 98. And actually, I'm going to do this differently. Instead of copy and pasting this block, I'm going to copy and paste the actual sword animation because it has specific timings in here. So this is the first frame, happens on score 1. This one happens on score 3. And they go at the same speed, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So we're just going to copy in these guys. And then change the numbers. Alright, and it starts with this guy. But she didn't hear the shut up yet. So every once in a while when I'm talking, I say something. And it scares her. 96. So this simply goes to 97, which activates the second frame in the animation 1 tick later. And so on and so forth. And I can make different frames last for a different amount of time. There was one frame where I made it last for longer in Photoshop and it looked better, so I'm going to try to do that. But after we get all set up and working, I think. Maybe not though. 100. 101. And 102. Now we actually don't need this command here. So let me just make sure it goes in the right order. So 96, 90, oh, yeah, instantly messed up. Nice. I might have just hit cancel. I did 98. 99, that's why you fact check as you go. So you don't wonder, wow, why is this man turning into a spider halfway through? I activated your Alexa, sorry. Okay, so we have everything in there. So that's looking good. And then this is just for the left direction, yes. And then all of these commands up here are just for our actual entity that we're fighting. So all we really need to be able to have our animation in-game is this guy right here. As well as the commands at the end that do some stuff here. So I'm going to get rid of my inventory so I can see what I'm doing. I think it's just these three guys. So the first one, which is not conditional, at the specific score fills the sponge in a specific area, which I'll have to change the coordinates and timings of. This is conditional, and if it does successfully fill that, that means that it'll clear my effect, so I'll no longer be slowed, and then I went the wrong way. Wrong command. This guy will also be conditional, and it sets my slash animation back to 0, so I can then do it again, over and over. Didn't you say I have to be somewhere in a few minutes? Yeah. Yep. But we're getting close, so don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. Or it won't be, who knows. I'm actually surprised we got this far. The bow animation kind of went by pretty quick in terms of how long it usually takes me. It's a little bit more simple than like moving your character a bunch. I just had to move my arms for the most part. So, yeah, I got a few minutes left. So next thing we have to do is make sure the coordinates don't activate the sword thing. Because right now, like if I go into here, this command block is still set up to clone commands, or set redstone blocks for the sword thingy. But I need to do it for over here, which is just a fill command. So I fill this area to this area with with redstone blocks. And it'll look something like this. So instead of 3 to -4, it goes to 6 to -7. Which may be no bueno. Does that seem right? Oh, I had... yeah, 3, 4. Oh, no, yeah. So it's supposed to go 5 to 6. I don't know what I was doing there. We'll just switch those numbers real quick. It's very important that we don't mess up this too, because if we just fill this whole area with air, we lose probably like, you know, hours of work, which really sucks. Will you archive the stream when finished? Yeah, I think it will. Kind of depends though. But I think I will, if you guys want to take a look back at what I did. I just don't want to flood my channel with streams, I guess, maybe. We'll figure it out. We'll think of something. Okay, so that sets a redstone block here and here, which I'll have a different one for this direction facing left, but I'm not going to do that right now because I don't have the pictures even set up right there. Alright, so now when we go in and we left click, it should do this stuff, but I need to mess with the frame animations a little bit real quick. So it does slash animation, and then when it starts doing that, it does this every second, and it goes up to 13, as opposed to this one over here, which went up to 15, and then 17, and then the tick after went to 18. So basically what I'm going to do here is that instead of doing that at 13, I'll be doing this at 14. Which this just stops everything. And then conditionally, if it does stop everything, it gets rid of my slowness so I can move around again, or it gets rid of my slash animation so I can attack again. Alright, we're gonna... Wait, we have to do one more thing, don't we? No, I think it's just that. No, it's something up here. This guy. This is wrong. So it's gonna fill the wrong area, basically. So 5 and 6 are going to go back to sponge. And 5 and 6 are right here and right here. So this block is going to be going back and forth between redstone and sponge for no reason, but that's okay. It'll set it up better for later. Alright, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I got to raise my FOV, or lower it back to 33. So now when I attack to the right, it does this. And the animation is going to be all messed up for that guy because I don't have it set up to clear it, but... Ta-da! I can custom say that I'm hurting him, right? Because I can push him away like this. Oh, dang it. He went the wrong... This is going to look good, okay? It's going to be 1 second. Aha! Look at this. Alright, so the sword disappears on my back. That's okay. But other than that, we have this animation of shooting. I realize I also forgot the shadow for my character, but that's a real easy fix too. I just have to go back and fix it. But this is what we got. If we face left and do something, nothing happens. We're not even slowed down or anything. This little ghost man will follow us, I guess. Pac-Man minigame, basically created by accident. You're welcome. But yeah, so when we shoot him, this happens. There'll be an arrow that comes out and shoots him. It's not going to be like an instant thing. Also, if he's far away and I click... Oh, I guess it hurts him no matter where I click. That's weird. That won't happen like that anyways. But yeah, here we go. This is what it looks like, guys. Like a so. And then, when I'm done with that, if I want to make it a sword again, I just have to select the sword in the game. And then go from 3 to 4. So I just clone a different command block in that has those coordinates. So when I swing, it does this. And when I face left, it does this. And that's literally the only numbers I have to change. So it's a very easy switch over. It's not like a laggy, like, oh, I pulled my bowl out. I pulled my bow out. Now it's going to lag for like 10 minutes. No, that's not how the game works, so. I think everything's looking good, though. And if you guys haven't seen it on stream, or at least seen the animations of it, we actually have one more thing here, which is from 3 to 4. It goes from 1 to 2. And it looks like this. Which for some reason, the animation is messed up on, I think. Right? Messed up a bunch of stuff. What's happening? Oh yeah, I forgot that I changed that to set block. It's supposed to be fill. So this one's still a redstone block. Where's this at? So it needs to go to... Dang it. I'll just put this in here for now so I can copy paste that. So when I left click with the fishing rod, well, I've got these guys down here, that's what it is. I set that up differently, I guess. I don't know. Well, regardless, I can still show you the animation. For some reason, there we go. There we go. We got it set up again. This is how it's supposed to work. This guy keeps getting in our way. Alright, looks like this. Boom. So when you're fishing, you have a little idle animation, whatnot. And whatnot. I don't know. Showed that off last stream, but I figured I'd show it off again if you guys didn't see the last stream. Which is probable. But yeah, so we just have to clone the commands back and forth. And I'll just have a catalog of different items being correlated to different things. So sword animation. We have the fishing animation, and then to set up the bow animation, looks like this. Which somehow affects this man. Ah, my cat's falling off my chair. But yeah, I think it looks good. I think it's working out well. We just gotta do some touch up on the actual sprite itself because there's a few things messed up. But yeah, so I can run around. Once I shoot him, it'll look like this. And I can run away. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of work done, I think, right? I think it's working out well. Real epic. Thank you, Martin. Do you have a job outside of YouTube? Yeah. This is not my job. Wish it was, but fortunately I just do this for the funsies. I showed you Project Campfire videos, and they absolutely loved it. I can't wait to see the final result. To your friends, yeah. Show it to your mom. That's what I do. Alright guys, well it's kind of getting to the point where I think I finished everything I wanted to do in this stream, and I also have to go soon, so I was going to play Rocket League for a little bit, but I don't know if I have time for that. I gotta do some things like laundry, sadly. Do you still need help with this stuff? I mean, the biggest help I need is from people that can make art. Command block wise, there's nothing really I need to add to the game. Like, I have a bunch of things that I still need to add. Like, for instance, I have right-click detection, and it says hello when I right-click, right? It's pretty simple. I use left-click to attack. I use F to pause the game. And it also allows me to move around my character without moving around my sprite. So you can see that this character is still trying to follow around my character. Regardless, I can use that to switch from between me and a follower, so I can tell the follower to go somewhere by actually controlling them instead of just like having a little marker that sets up. And then when I hit F again, he comes back to that spot. When I hit Q, he switches to stance mode, but I think I'm going to change that to something else. I might use that as the inventory button that cycles between if you're using a bow or a sword or whatnot. I might use the stance mode in like cutscenes and stuff, but right now it's kind of irrelevant. I also have something you can only see if I do this. Oops. Where is it? Where is it? Shift. So as you can see, I've shifted a lot, but when I hold down shift on the right side of the screen, you can see that even if I tap it, It detects that seamlessly as well. My character doesn't like shift up and down thanks to the capsule that I built. I'm like trapped under a trap door and some carpet. So when I shift visually, I don't change, but my game detects it. So all of these things like left click, right click, Q, F, and shift, they're all, and of course W, A, S, and D are all seamless. And nobody has to rebind keys to be able to play the game, which I think is a cool thing. I can also add some other things, but I'm not sure what to do yet with them. And then of course, if you hit E, you have this, but I'm not sure I want to actually use this as a menu either. I'll just have the UI and the health and inventory and stuff like that on the screen, similar to like Zelda does. I think that'll be the best way to do it. It's just so satisfying. I like playing around with it. Cool. Is the water actually a reflection? Yeah, like I said, it's just drawn. I could do a reflection where I have a separate entity follow my exact movements, similar to how I have lighting and stuff in dungeons, but I don't know how often that's going to happen. I could do it for like specific frames like this. I think that might be neat. For instance, like when I walk under, that guy will disappear. And I will never be able to swim in the water down there, so you'll never see anything but the reflection. That might add some detail to it, but I'm not sure it's worth the time. We'll see. And spacebar isn't used? Yeah, I don't use spacebar because you can only detect spacebar if your character actually leaves the ground. At least when I start making this. Otherwise, I might look into it again. But if I want the shift to be detectable, and if I don't want the screen to change, I can't use spacebar, basically. Because spacebar would just jitter the screen like this every time I jumped or something. But right now I made it so that spacebar does nothing. So it doesn't jump, so it doesn't affect the game, but it's just like a game that doesn't have spacebar as a control, you know? It was the OG Zelda your inspiration for this game? Yeah. Or at least the, not like the OG Zelda, but like Link to the Past, definitely. I have like an emulator and I play that sometimes. And I've played it a lot in my life. And then Ocarina of Time and stuff like that, just as far as puzzle mechanics go. Other games too, I just love the art style. Like Hyper Light Drifter, the person that made a lot of this art too, was inspired by stuff like that too. And I made a lot of it possible. Just modern day RPGs too, like Stardew Valley, just the mechanics of the game. The way that something so simple can be made by one person and still be impressive. It's pretty cool. It's inspirational. But I think that's all I have for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, you know, hang around for some other streams sometime. I'll be announcing them on Twitter. If you don't know where I'm at on Twitter, it's Red Knobster. It's pretty easy to find. But thanks for stopping by, everybody. Really appreciate it. You guys gave me some good input too while I was making the sprite for the shooting and stuff. I gotta do some edits, but that's mainly because I was distracted. It's my own fault. Other than that, everything works, you know, which is impressive, I think. But yeah. Catch you guys later. See you, Dragon. See you, awesomeness. I've heard people say, well, they've asked me if I've played Westeros, but never played it. So I'll look that up after I stop the stream, though, just so I know what people are talking about. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Have a fun time. Enjoy the rest of your day.